We're doing what's called relations. Now, relations is a fancy way of saying a set of ordered pairs. Okay? So this guy right here isn't a relation. It's just a set of ordered pairs. Okay? So at the top here, we're going to fill in some vocabulary. So a set of ordered pairs. So we're going to start with, it's a relation. Okay? Relation. All right? So a relation. Now, there are 3 ways to represent a relation. What's this guy called right here, you think? Okay.
Isn't that,
Don't even think it. What is this?
it's like line
Oh, it's just a graph. Not line graph, but that would be like a number line.
I'm trying to
Okay.
think of
The graph. Coordinate plane?
Yes. That's
Coordinate plane? Okay. Just a graph. What does this look like to you?
Table.
A table. Anybody know this one? Starts with an M. It's okay. You may not know this one yet. All right, that's what we're going to talk about today. But you can take these ordered pairs or this relation, and you can write it as a graph, a mapping, a table, or this is called a mapping. Okay? All right, so up at the top there, so it says that we can represent it as, we're going to put graph, table, or a mapping. Okay, so graph, table, or mapping. All right, so now, when you guys look at this coordinate point, what would you call -2? What's this guy called? Okay, the x value. Does anybody know any other words for it besides the x value?
Domain.
Good, domain. All right, so domain is your x value. Does anybody know what this guy is, the -1?
Range.
Range or your y value. Okay, so up at the top here, in our vocabulary, it says the mapping, let's go to the second part there. It says the set of first numbers of the ordered pair. Okay, so this is going to be your x value. Okay, it's known as a domain. Okay, domain. Or it's also going to be called input. Input.
Oh, and then the other one's output.
There you go, good. The other one will be output. Okay, so an x value, domain, or input. We can use these, and we're all talking about the same thing. Okay, so now the y value, will be range, or just like Nick said, output. Output. Okay, so those are all different ways to represent y.
So it's domain, range, and output?
Yes. Y value, you mean? Range, output. Anybody else? Okay, so now let's look at example 1 here. So it says express the relation. So again, a relation is just a set of numbers, and you guys notice how they have the set brackets around it? To specify it's a set of numbers. They're all grouped together, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to graph it. All right, who remembers from this summer how to graph -2, -1? -2, -1. Phelan?
Left 1, down 1. I mean left 2, down 1.
Good. Left 2. So you're going to go left 2 on your x-axis and then down 1. Okay? And so there would be my first point. Okay, the next one is 3, 3. Monica, how would we graph 3, 3, you think?
You go over +3 and up +3.
Nice job. Okay, so 3, 3. And then the last point here was 4, 3. 4, 3. Varel, how do you graph 4, 3?
Over to the right 4, up 3.
Yeah, nice job. Okay, so to the right 4, up 3. Okay? So graph. That's kind of review. Okay, a table. You are just taking this guy right here and writing it right here. All right, so our first coordinate point was -2, -1. So you write -2, -1. Our next point is 3, 3. So we write down 3, 3. And our last point is 4, 3. Okay? All right, does anybody have a question on the graph or the table? That's hopefully a review. Okay? All right, now the one thing that's new to you, this guy's called the mapping. Okay, mapping. And if you need to write that at top, that's not a bad thing to do if you don't know this very well yet. Okay, mapping. Okay, so mapping is very similar to the table. Okay, but there's one adjustment that we have to make, and that is you cannot double up values. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about in each column or group. So if I look down the X's, does anything double up? Do I have any double of numbers there? Nah. So I'm just going to write down -2, 3, and 4 right here in this bubble. All right? So -2, 3, and 4. Okay? Now, over here on the Y's, do I have anything that doubles on the Y's?
Yes.
What?
Three.
The 3's, okay? So you can only write it one time. You don't double it up. Write it one time. So you're going to write -1 and 3. So now off to the side there, I would make some sort of note. Don't double values. Okay, so don't double up the values. Okay? Now, on a mapping, you have to actually show the relationship. So what does the -2 belong to? What number? -2 belongs to -1. So you're going to draw an arrow, okay, from -2 to -1, okay? And it's important that you put an arrow on this side, okay? Because you're saying, I'm going to put in -2, that's the input, and I'm going to get out a -1. This is what this is saying. You're putting in -2 and getting out -1. Okay, if you don't put the arrow, then people could technically read it backwards. Okay? So now 3, where would I put my arrow to 3? 3 to 3. And what about the 4?
4.
Okay? And it's okay to have arrows going to multiple spots. That's okay. All right? Does anybody have a question now on mapping? Okay. Nick, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a second. I see a couple people need to finish up. Okay? Now, if you look at the next question, while we're waiting on a couple people to finish, if you look at the next question, what are they asking you to identify now?
Determine the domain and range.
Okay, domain and range. Domain, Corlin, is our what values? Look at the top if you don't remember. What do we put next to domain up there? Here, let me help you out. Look. Domain is the what values?
Oh, X value.
X values, okay? So you're just going to write down your X values. So what are our X values in this set of order pair?
-2, 3, and 4.
Okay, good. -2, 3, and 4. Now, it is still a set of numbers, so we have our set bracket the best you can. All right? And we said -2, 3, and 4. Okay? Range. What would my range values here be? Range values. Cole, what do you think?
-1, 3, 3.
Okay? Same thing as mapping. We don't double. So now what would your answer be now that you know that?
-1 and 3.
Good. Very good. Okay? So -1 and 3. Okay? So we don't double up here either. So if you want to, highlight this over here, kind of just highlight. And if you want to draw an arrow, so you remember, don't double up down here either. Okay? So you don't double here, and we don't double up down here on domain or range. Okay? All right, does anybody have a question on that? Okay, give it a second. I see some people still writing.
It's hard to draw those brackets.
Just do the best you can. Okay? All right, and then we're going to be looking at example 2 now. This is our last example for today. It says express the relation shown. So again, what's a relation?
Instead of order pair.
Good, a set of ordered pairs. So we've got lots of ordered pairs here. Okay? In each table, mapping, or graph. Obviously, they gave us a graph on this one. Okay? And so they're asking us to write it as a set of ordered pairs. So what do I have to include when it says the word set? Set means what? Brackets, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put down, since it says set, we're going to put a set symbol, all right? And now we need to figure out what is this coordinate point. I just highlighted in purple. Zion, what would this coordinate point here be? Nice job, all right? So we put -3, -1. All right? Okay, I've got one up here now that's in red. One that's in red. Alex, what do you think here? What's my red coordinate point going to be?
It has to move over. Okay. You said the.
What's the red one?
-2. -2.
Good. -2, -2. Okay, so -2, -2. All right, and we'll go to the next one here. Nick, what do you think this coordinate point is?
-1, -3.
Good job. All right, so we've got -1, -3. All right, we got two guys here left. Okay, I've got this pinky purple kind of guy right here. What's this one going to be, Colin?
-1, -1.
Ooh, be careful. This point right here.
Oh.
So how many over did we go?
1.
How many up did we go?
1.
So 1, 1. Okay. Okay, so we've got 1, 1. And then the last one here that I just circled, what would that guy be, Cole?
2, 1.
2, 1, good. And we do set brackets, right? Okay. Now, real quick review for us. This is some stuff that we should already know, but just in case we don't remember. Okay, can someone tell me, I'm going to put a blue point right here. What is that guy called right there? Okay, what do you got?
Origin.
Origin, very good. Okay, so what's the coordinate point for origin?
0, 0.
Good, 0, 0. Okay, does anybody remember the quadrants from this summer? Quadrants. Monica?
It'd go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good job. All right, so she said pointing to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. All right, does anybody have any questions for me? No? Okay. Let's go ahead then.